He's like a tree planted by streams of living water. So if you want to flourish and bear fruit of love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, and self-control, you need the Spirit of God. So I'm out here with a simple proposition. Jesus of Nazareth is the truth.
He has a stick of dynamite, wick about this long, he lights it, throws it into the lakes. All the fish come to the top. And then he just started forming the circle. I was like, and I just sit over here and watch. Like, everybody has an opinion, everybody has a thought, and I like to watch the debate. I like how you fish.
God bless you. Have a good one. My name is Keith Darrell. I do open air preaching and evangelism on college campuses.
We're here.
We're here. Yeah, we'll go to the quad and see how it's going.
I'm excited. Let's do it. You're not usually in a situation as a Christian where you're actually confronting people with the gospel very often, you know.
Today I had the opportunity to spend some time with Keith Darrell, and he's doing something that most Christians wouldn't dare to do. He's boldly preaching the gospel on college campuses. And for me personally, as a college student, that's something that seems really frightening.
I think stats play out that many people do not share their faith on any sort of regular basis. And even when they do share the faith, I think a lot of Christians kind of shrink, or when we have the opportunity to, we kind of shrink back from sharing the faith with other people.
So Keith, when you're on a campus, how do you figure out where the best place to preach is?
If I have not been on a campus before, I try to get there early enough to watch the flow of traffic. And then like one of the things I'm looking for, if you can see this, so well, even just this here. So I start preaching and I'm aiming out this way, and this kind of serves as a natural buffer. And so what I'm trying to do, I want to keep, if I can, I want to keep at least 15 feet between me and the students, because it kind of gives order. If people are 15 feet away from you, they'll often raise their hands to ask a question. If they get up closer to you, then they're just going to start
Cementing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so you're trying to capture somewhere that has a high flow of traffic, but you're also trying to look at the psychology of how people will stop and interact with you to foster kind of an environment that they'll actually need to engage in conversations.
Yep.
Okay.
It was really interesting to see just how much preparation goes into even a simple decision like the location. What was evident was that Keith knew what he was doing, and he's been doing it for a while. So we set up our cameras, and then Keith went into the center of the lawn. I thought he was going to start preaching immediately, but instead he started to pray. After 15 minutes of constant prayer, Keith began to speak.
all right, students, a reading from God's holy word, the Bible. Psalm chapter 24 says, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, the world and those who dwell therein. For he's founded upon the seas and established it upon the rivers. And the psalmist asks this question: who shall ascend the hill of the Lord, and who shall stand in his holy place? He gives us the answer. It's he that has clean hands and a pure heart. How you doing? I usually start off with Psalm 24, the earth is the Lord's, the fullness thereof, the world, and those who dwell therein. So now I'm just going to say whether you're white, black, male, female, rich, poor, straight, gay, confused, the earth is the Lord's, the fullness thereof, the world. And usually when you say that, someone is offended.
What are you yelling at?
Well, I'm out here to say that there's truth that can be known. Once you say, no, Jesus is Lord, and all these are subordinate to Jesus, that's where the problem lies. Because they live in God's world, you have to do something with justice, you have to do something with sin, you have to do something with atonement. And so it's never a question of, do you have these things? It's, well, how do we orient these things?
Humans are quite flawed, and we agree on that. But the issue is, I don't think humans are flawed because they made a mistake in God's eyes. There's nothing to prove that. Humans are flawed because we're millions of years of random biological chemicals.
I know you're trying to put a good spin on it.
But
I'm not going to stop you from doing that.
Real quick, what's your name?
I'm Zyler.
Zyler, I'm Keith. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. So here's the thing, Zyler. I don't care, again, if you're left wing or right wing, whatever you are, everybody out here today has a category for sin. And the question is it something that we construct as a society, or is it something that God reveals to us? My position is that what is morally right or wrong is revealed to us. Each and every one of you bears the image of God. God himself is truth. That's why it's wrong to lie. It's not wrong because black people or white people say so, or some guy said so somewhere along the way. It's wrong because God is truth. Right? No? Why is it wrong to lie?
Okay, if you just say your name, who you are, and your involvement on campus.
Sure. My name is Cassie Coleman. I'm currently involved with a ministry on campus called North County Project.
What do you think of public preaching like this?
I have mixed emotions about it, honestly. I wonder the effectiveness of it.
When people ask me, is this effective? That's never really a concern of mine. My primary issue is, am I faithful to the gospel? Because at the end of the day, faithfulness to the gospel is the thing that's going to bear fruit. And that's why Paul, like in Philippians 1, can say, no matter what the motive is, some preach Christ out of selfish ambition, some out of pure motive, as long as the gospel's preached. Well, why can a guy with a bunch of selfish ambition bear fruit? Because it's the gospel, that's the power of God. So my main desire, obviously I'd love to be effective. I'd love everybody on this campus to repent today. That's not going to happen. So my primary issue is, how am I faithful to the gospel? And I'm sure we can find plenty of churches that are more effective, but I think if we listen to them, take Joseph Smith. Was he more effective in his life than me? Probably. He started the whole cult. You know what I mean? Was Muhammad more effective than me? Probably. He started the cult. So effectiveness is not the rule of thumb that we should use, but are we faithfulness to the gospel? Yeah. Acts chapter 17, Paul is waiting for some friends of his in Athens, and the text says that his spirit was provoked within him because the city was filled with idols. So he sees the idolatry, and he doesn't run away from everybody because they're so bad. He goes in, he's reasons with the Jews, and he reasons with the Epicurean and Stoic philosophers. And so I just fell in love with that text. And as I thought about it, I was like, well, that's the American college campus. What's the remedy for mankind? It's the death, the burial, and resurrection of Jesus. So that's what's driving it.
I have a college campus. Talking about mission be like this, mission be like that. Me and man, and go to fucking work. Like, what are you doing? You're a grown ass adult. Earlier, you
Sincere questions out here today regarding the gospel. Good.
Why are you so red?
I'm light-skinned. I did put SPF 30 on, but when you're in the sun a lot, has tendency. So I've been punched a handful of times. My stuff often gets stolen, and it's oftentimes those people who are actually interested. So it doesn't bother me if I get decked, because it's like
People who punch you are the most interested.
yeah. So it's like they're engaged at a level. It's the guy who has his earbud in, might pop it out, pop it back in. That's completely indifferent to me. So interestingly enough, if you humble yourself, God listens. But the guy who's sitting there going like, "You're a piece of beep, 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 beep," that guy's actually interested. Yeah, so I thought yesterday was good. I was able to have good conversations with especially some believers, and some of the young man who was one of my main antagonists, and even the other guy, the first guy that came up, he came back later, and I was able to have good conversations with them.
Ultimately, this entire experience was really transformational for me. Spending time with Keith really revealed a sense of urgency, and his courage really inspires me to share my faith with those around me.
Whoever you are, if you're interested in evangelism, if you're interested in anything, it's kind of like you just have to go do it. So if you're in Him, you can have everlasting life. But if you're outside of Him, you cannot. So I would say. So I was interested in it for about 7 years. Finally, some guys were like, "Hey, you've been talking about doing this for 7 years. Here's some money. Go and do it." But it actually took me 6 weeks of kind of like falling off the bike every day. Like for 6 weeks, I was like, I get a small crowd, couldn't keep a crowd. I have a crowd for a little bit, then they'd mock. So for the young person who's contemplating either doing public preaching, just go out and do it. Like anything, you just need to get reps to get better at it, and eventually you'll be like, "Yeah, this is my groove." My name is Keith Darrell. I'm an open-air preacher on college campuses in America.